On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 1978. We're going to be taking a look at Kansas, and they're going to be performing Carry On Wayward Son. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So this is going to be the video featured from the official Kansas YouTube channel. So I'm not sure how this is going to go with the copyrights, but if it does get blocked, I'll re-edit it and upload it, because it's one of those performances that you've got to see, but also there is so much to dive into with every single element here. Also, just the whole show that they put on. But without further ado, let's get these guys up on screen and see how they get on. The performance did get blocked worldwide, unfortunately, so click on the link in the description below, watch the performance, come back here for the analysis, and I'll see you guys in the comments section. I'm just going to jump in here. As always, there's going to be a link to this performance video in the description below, so you guys can click on that link to watch it the whole way through without me interrupting it. But this is just a breathless performance. It's really difficult to jump into it because there is so much going on, and not only from a show perspective here, but just the overall composition, because we've got a killer riff in there, and some people would say a couple of killer riffs in this song. We've got great lead work as well, and the thing about this live performance is it's a great version of the record, and when you analyze that original record and hear all of the instruments going on in there, you can see why every member of the band here really has to be on their toes in order to cover all of the instruments. And it's something that, if you are paying attention, you will see it's really easy to just get into this performance and enjoy the music. But then when you get an appreciation of the amount of work going on here from the band, you've got Steve Walsh on that lead vocal, and he's dressed for the part here. Because of the amount of work he's getting through, you could argue the only suitable attire for this kind of performance is shorts and nothing else, because he's definitely working up a sweat. He's going from his lead vocal mic to then jumping back to the secondary microphone that is just above the organ. He just had a little bit of an organ solo in there, like I said, getting everything in from that original record. And then he just jumps onto the conga drums and really goes hell for leather on those. Keep a lookout for in the background as well, because during that period, we do have Robbie, and this is Robbie Steinhardt, who gets involved by bringing over the tambourine, because he's going crazy on that. But you'll see him previously just walking about the stage with the tambourine, but then he realizes that the microphones aren't picking up the tambourine, so he runs around the stage in order for the conga drums mic to pick up the tambourine, and then you will hear it come through a lot more clearly. I'm just going to show you the bit that I mean, so you can look out for it when you watch this video. But it is one of those tiny details that unless you're looking out for it, you might miss it. But listen in, because it makes such a difference having that tambourine in there. And it's something that only musicians and people that are looking at the performance as a whole get to appreciate when they're on stage, that the tambourine isn't in the mix. So I need to get somewhere on stage that will pick up this tambourine, and as soon as he gets in position closer to these conga drum mics, you can hear it so much more clearly, and it just adds something. We've got some great vocals across the board here from Steve and Robbie. I think on that original record there are 4 voices that harmonize with each other, but they do such a great job in this live performance of getting their voices to blend, and one of the reasons that is the way that Steve goes to that secondary mic, where the mix might be a little bit more even between the 2 vocalists rather than having the lead vocal, which might overpower when you're looking to get those harmonies together, but these 2 would have the ability to blend their voices as well. Steve vocally, he's hitting high Cs, he's hitting A4s, G4s, B4s as well, and I'll show you on the piano, that's right up there in the male tenor range, and he's got total control the whole time. Factor in that he is running around, he is bashing conga drums, he's playing organ, he's jumping up in the air, as we'll see at the end of the performance. He's using a lot of energy and a lot of air. He's having to keep on top of his breathing throughout this whole performance, and singing in this range takes a lot of effort, a lot of diaphragmatic support. The breathing has got to be done before you sing your phrases so that you have enough air to last the phrase. So it's really impressive from that vocal standpoint, just technique-wise. Another thing that you might not notice is the way that Rich changes, Rich Williams in the background in the shot as we're looking at it. He changes between the electric guitar, playing rhythm on that, and playing lead guitar, but also over to the acoustic guitar, which when we are looking at the conga drums and the organ, you'll see just in the background, Rich has moved over, which means he's got rid of his electric guitar. He's gone over to the acoustic guitar, which is on a stand, which means he doesn't have to worry about putting the strap over his head. He can just play fingerstyle, by the way, totally different technique. And then he picks up his pick and goes back to his electric guitar, puts that on, and plays a little bit of lead back into the rhythm. But it's these things that you're not necessarily going to notice because of how good the performance is. You don't realize how mobile the whole band are, moving around the stage, going from instrument to instrument in order to get this quality and this kind of level of performance of an album track that is really difficult to perform live. So just getting the guitar out, because the riffs are so much a part of this song, the lead work as well. Kerry Livgren, by the way, wrote this, and you can kind of tell that it is a guitarist song because of the quality of the guitar playing throughout. But the one that really grabs you is the riff in A minor, which is the... that one, which is just such a cool riff, and it's so well played as well because it is concise, considering the fact we've got a little slide in there and then we descend back down. And I think it is all picked because of just how clear all of these notes come across. So to slow it down, we've got the... and that's the little bit I'm talking about, the picking there. And getting all of those notes to pop out. And then we go back to the... and take it down to the G flat that second time. So just a great riff and something to listen out for when we get into the verse. The tempo, that's another thing to mention about this. It is pushed. It is quite a fast version of it. But when you're listening to that original record, it's got that famous increase in tempo when we get into the verse, and it is something that will affect the delivery live here because Steve just throws away some of the lines because of the increase in tempo. But the thing to listen out for, as I was saying, is the piano, the arpeggiation that we've got going on with our chords. So when we've got the A minor and the A minor, G, F, G, A minor, and you'll hear it more like the piano having this, and you'll hear notes popping out, and that is the arpeggiation that I'm talking about, where you just take notes from a chord rather than just playing the chord straight. You're picking out that kind of thing. When we progress, we then get, and that was A minor, G, F, we then get into the D, into the C, into the B flat, into the G, back into the A minor. So already in that verse, you've got such a great mix of chords, but also a fantastic melody over the top, and the way that Steve delivers this is just great to listen to. But when we get into the chorus, we have the C, which is thrown in there as well. So we're going for the chorus A minor, C, G, F, like that. And once we go through that, we're then going down to this E, and it's not really an E minor, it's more like an E power chord, or maybe an E5 if you want to go that far, because you want to be highlighting at the top end. You can hear that minor seventh, you can even jump up to if you want to, and again it's got that a little riff in there which you can play, or you can pick it all, which is probably more the case, just picking all of those notes to get them to stand out. You can also play it there and pick them all if you want to as well. So you've got a really cool riff just thrown in there really quickly. So the other element we've got is the secondary riff, and this has more of a 16th note feel to it, and the notes are along those lines. And if you want to apply some vibrato and you haven't got a whammy bar, I could just do it with my whammy bar, but if you haven't got that, you can press on the string beyond your nut at the top end of your guitar on your headstock, and that will give you a little bit of vibrato because it's nice to throw it in there. When I was demonstrating it, I was doing pull-offs there, so going like that, and those are the pull-offs. Once you get used to that, it's going to be easy to play it like that to begin with, but you'll probably want to start putting in the alternate picking to get each of the notes to pop out a little bit more. So we have like that. And then ending with the D5 and then back into the riff. We also had that little bit of lead there from Rich where we have this bend. It's something along those lines. That first part is the bit that really jumps out, that staccato bend, and all of those notes, the staccato really cutting off the note quickly, and that's what that means, rather than legato, which is letting it ring out and go on for a longer time. But let's get back into the performance and we'll watch it all the way to the end. And there we have it. What a great live version of the song. And I love the way that Steve, when he's behind the organ and he starts jumping, he just pushes the mic stand out the way, because that's going to get in the way of him kicking out his leg when he's jumping up in the air. So it's just getting rid of something that's going to get in the way of his performance. And this is really such a great performance from every perspective, musically, but also putting on the show. And these guys are just a proper band. When you think about other bands or artists who, when they play live and they might have a record that has a lot of instruments on there, so in the live setting, they have to get in session musicians, and sometimes you can have just a vocalist who is surrounded by session musicians who make it sound like the record. But this is just an old school band where they played all of the instruments in the studio and they're just bringing it to the live stage, and they're literally running around to the instruments that they need to play at that particular time, because that's what they did in the studio. They've all got the ability, the multi-instrumental ability to play these instruments independently, and they just worked out a way in order to get exactly the same effect live. Just to mention that Rich Williams is picking out the notes from the chords during the verses. You might have seen him there with the A minor, that kind of thing. So it's the kind of rhythm, when you double that up with the piano, it keeps everything moving forward, because you literally get that effect, because that is the tempo at which we're getting picks on the guitar, but also single notes coming in from the piano. And because of the slightly pushed tempo as well, it means that there's a lot of energy here. The other thing is, just when you think you've heard every part of this song with the riffs and the chord progression, we then have a jump to a G flat minor. And it's when we get into this, like that, and you'll be hearing Kerry playing lead guitar over the top of that. Again, top quality stuff, and now being up a couple of frets from where we were in that E minor pentatonic shape, we now are playing in G flat or F sharp, so you can jump into that position. And we've got all of that really cool stuff. Spending a lot of time there, great vibrato, great technique, and just a joy to listen to top musicians. We've even got some dual lead guitars going on, playing, harmonizing with each other. So there is pretty much everything that you want in a performance in this song, but also in this live performance. And you can see that it's 4 minutes and 14 seconds and the song has finished. I think the original was at least over 5 minutes, so they really have crammed it in. And I know that the tempo is pushed, but there is just nowhere to draw breath throughout this whole composition, but especially this performance. But this is one of those performances and compositions that you could break down for years because there's so much going on. From the chord progression as well, it is progressive. We haven't just got the same 3 chords looped here. We always are going somewhere new on the journey. And like I said, when you think you've heard it all, you then have another change to a place that you really weren't expecting, and you just get treated to top quality musicianship here. Thank you guys so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!